Right, this morning I got given something by an Australian Defence Force member that is concerned about what he discovered. And that would be the oath of allegiance that Anthony Albanese is under while operating as Prime Minister. And this is going to demonstrate very clearly to all those Royal Australian Regiment soldiers and all those other ADF soldiers and employees that something's amiss and they've changed the core of who you are, therefore taking your royal name away from you, making you not royal men anymore. And this is of grave concern and we need to address it.
Mr Albanese, I invite you to take and subscribe to the affirmation of office as Prime Minister of Australia.
I, Anthony Norman Albanese, do solemnly and sincerely affirm and declare that I will well and truly serve the Commonwealth of Australia, her land and her people in the office of Prime Minister.
Now, just so you don't get confused, let's look at a previous Prime Minister taking the same swearing-in ceremony.
I, John Winston Howard, do swear that I will well and truly serve the people of Australia in the office of Prime Minister, and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, so help me God.
I, Kevin Michael Rudd, do swear that I will well and truly serve the Commonwealth of Australia, her land and her people in the office of Prime Minister, so help me God.
Would you sign the document there?
Please be seated. Your Excellency, I present to you the Honourable Julia Gillard, MP.
I, Quentin Alice Louise Bryce, Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia, pursuant to Section 64 and 65 of the Constitution, hereby direct and appoint the Honourable Julia Eileen Gillard, MP, a member of the Federal Executive Council, to hold the office of Prime Minister and to administer the Department of the Prime Minister and Cabinet. You sign. Thank you. Ms. Gillard, I invite you to stand and make and subscribe the affirmation of office as Prime Minister.
I, Julia Eileen Gillard, do solemnly and sincerely affirm and declare that I will well and truly serve the Commonwealth of Australia, her land and her people in the office of Prime Minister.
I, Anthony John Abbott, do swear that I will well and truly serve the people of Australia in the office of Prime Minister, and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, Queen of Australia, so help me God.
Would you Sit down, Mr Abbott, and subscribe the oath of office, please.
I, Malcolm Bligh Turnbull, do swear that I will well and truly serve the people of Australia in the office of Prime Minister, and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, Queen of Australia, so help me God. I shall sign it, yep.
I, Scott John Morrison, do swear that I will well and truly serve the people of Australia in the office of Prime Minister, and that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, Queen of Australia, so help me God.
Mr Albanese, I invite you to take and subscribe the affirmation of office of the Prime Minister of Australia.
I, Anthony Norman Albanese, do solemnly and sincerely affirm and declare that I will well and truly serve the Commonwealth of Australia, her land and her people in the office of Prime Minister.
The commission from Her Majesty the Queen appointing General Peter John Cosgrove, AC, MC retired, to be the Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia. Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen of Australia and her other realms and territories, Head of the Commonwealth. To Peter John Cosgrove, Companion of the Order of Australia, Military Cross, greeting. We do by this our commission under our signed manual and Great Seal of Australia appoint you, Peter John Cosgrove, to be, during our pleasure, our Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia. And we do authorise, empower and command you to exercise and perform all and singular the powers and directions contained in the letters patent dated 21 August 2008 relating to the office of Governor-General, or in future letters patent relating to that office according to such instructions as our Governor-General for the time being may have received or may in future receive from us, and according to such laws as are from time to time in force. And we do declare that the powers conferred by this our Commission include any further powers that may in future be assigned to the Governor-General in accordance with Section 2 of the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Australia. The Commission is signed at its head, Elizabeth R., and was given at our court at St James on 12 March 2014. It is countersigned by Her Majesty's Command, Tony Abbott, Prime Minister. I invite the Chief Justice of Australia to inspect the Commission. The Chief Justice will now administer the oath of allegiance and then the oath of office.
I, Peter John Cosgrove, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors according to law. So help me God.
invite you to make the oath of office.
I, Peter John Cosgrove, do swear that I will well and truly serve Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors, according to law, in the office of Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia, and I will do right to all manner of people after the laws and usages of the Commonwealth of Australia, without fear or favour, affection or ill will. So help me God.
Yes, I just got hung up on. I was trying to get to Anthony Albanese's office.
Put you through again.
Thank you.
Hello and thank you for calling the office of Anthony Albanese MP, Prime Minister of Australia. The Prime Minister's office receives a large number of calls and we may not be able to answer each and every one. Please listen carefully to the following options so that we can direct your call. If you're calling from another office inside Parliament House, please press 1. If you're calling from an electorate office of a Member of Parliament or a Senator, please press 2. If you're calling about an invitation or a meeting request, please press 3. If you are a member of the public wishing to leave a message for the Prime Minister or for any other purpose,
I'll just leave a message.
please press 4.
Right, so we press 2.
Thank you for calling the Prime Minister's office. Most inquiries from electorate officers can be answered by the relevant minister, as they are often best placed to answer questions about their portfolio areas. If you have tried to contact a minister and still have a question for the PMO, please open Microsoft Teams on the APH network and send a message via Teams chat to Lewis Gordon. That's L-O-U-I-S Gordon. Lewis will be able to help you with your questions from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekdays via Teams chat. Again, please search for Lewis, L-O-U-I-S Gordon on Microsoft Teams to start your chat. If you don't have access to Teams, please leave a message after the tone and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. When leaving your message, please leave your full name, the name of your MP or Senator, and the reason for your call. Thank you. Calling the Prime Minister's office. Our switchboard is currently unattended. If you're calling from within Parliament House, please try extension 1700. If you're calling from an electorate office, please open Microsoft Teams on the APH network and send a message via Teams chat to Lewis Gordon. Otherwise, please visit our website at pm.gov.au/contact to leave a message. Thank you.
Right, so that goes around and around. You can't contact the Prime Minister's office anymore when Scott Morrison openly allowed that to come to his office.
Deputy Prime Minister's office.
Yes, good morning. Just got a question in relation to Richard Marles' oath.
His what, sorry?
His oath of allegiance / oath of office.
Oh, yep.
Okay, now, do you know the wording at all?
I don't, sorry.
Right, okay. My question to the Deputy Prime Minister is, does Anthony Albanese operate within the Commonwealth of Australia Constitution?
Yep.
How can he do that if he's outside of the Constitution by his oath?
How is he outside of the Constitution?
He took an oath of allegiance that doesn't agree with the scheduled oath in the Constitution.
Right.
So is that operating outside of the Constitution?
I'm not sure, sorry.
You're not sure? No. So you work in a parliament obligated to that Constitution, and as Deputy...
I'm not sure the oath that Albanese took.
Well, I can speak it to you right now. I, Anthony Albanese, do solemnly and sincerely affirm and declare that I will well and truly serve the Commonwealth of Australia, her land and her people in the office of Prime Minister. So if I read to you the scheduled oath in the Constitution, could you clarify whether that's the same? I, AB, do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Victoria, her heirs and successors, according to law, so help me God. So is Anthony Albanese according to law?
I'm not sure, sorry. I don't work for
You're not sure yet you work in the Deputy Prime Minister's office. So you don't know your own constitution is what you're saying. Yet you work in the Deputy Prime Minister's office. Can you clarify?
Can I clarify what? Sorry.
That you don't know the constitution.
That's not what I was saying.
Well, I just pointed it out to you, and you just pointed it out to me that you're ignorant of the fact that Anthony Albanese is operating under an oath that is not in agreement with the Constitution according to law. So help him God. So is that an act of treason?
Not sure, sorry.
You're not sure whether that's an act of treason, yet this is your country and you work, I will repeat, in the Deputy Prime Minister's office. Wouldn't you think that ringing this office should be competent in the Constitution? Wouldn't you think that you should know it? Wouldn't you think that you should defend it, being the Defence Minister? So are you defending the Constitution?
So, I'm sort of lost as to what your question you want me to ask is.
Well, I asked you if it was an act of treason to take an oath that's not in accordance to the Constitution according to law.
How is it not?
I just told you very clearly. Very, very clearly. So are you not listening, or do you not have the capacity to listen?
Okay, there's no need to be rude.
Well, I'm trying not to be. So I'll repeat. I, Anthony Albanese, do solemnly and sincerely affirm and declare that I will well and truly serve the Commonwealth of Australia, her land and her people in the office of Prime Minister. Where's the monarch? Where's God? Where's the part that says according to law? Where's that in adherence to scheduled oath in the Constitution?
Have you tried calling the Prime Minister's office?
The Prime Minister shut down every contact into his office after Scott Morrison left that office. Scott Morrison quite openly allowed phone calls into his office. Anthony Albanese doesn't. So again, is that an act of treason?
I'm not sure, sorry.
You're not sure whether that's outside of the scheduled oath according to law. You're just not sure. So your soldiers that serve you in that Defence Department, have you taken their lineage to their Anzac away from them?
Yes, I'm happy to pass on a message. I'm not.
Well, I'd like some answers from your office instead of ignorance and shutting us down.
Don't need to be speaking to her.
Well, we'd like some answers from the Deputy Prime Minister, please.
Sure.
So when will we get those answers?
Well, I can pass a message on for you, or you can write an email in.
Right, so you didn't respond to the last emails. What makes us think that you will respond to any of these?
I'm trying to do my best to help you here. You can either write an email or I can pass a message on.
So you want me to go into the metaverse instead of dealing with the Constitution according to law? So is there a lawyer in your office there? Do you have someone that is legally trained that I can talk to in relation to this treason that has occurred according to law?
I don't. I can pass a message on, or you can send an email in.
Well, I have sent an email in.
Sure.
Okay,
Well,
so you never responded.
When did you send that?
Right, last week.
Okay, well, someone's replying to it.
Oh, someone's replying to it. They will never reply to it. Because you don't want to acknowledge the fact that Anthony Albanese is outside of the Constitution. This is a clear-cut fact.
Okay.
I've read the Constitution to you, and you're acting nonchalantly about the law that is your limitation of office. You're acting not nonchalantly about it, like you just don't care that treason's occurred. You just don't care that an oath outside of our Constitution was taken. Is that correct?
Happy to pass a message on, or you can send an email.
So you have no statement to make from the Deputy Prime Minister's office?
I'm not going to make a statement on the behalf of the Deputy Prime Minister.
Well, then is someone there in your office able to make a statement? Because clearly you're not going to reply through the metaverse that you all expect us to jump into. We like the real world, where real people speak. So then please pass me to someone in your office that can answer the question.
Pass you on to someone else. I can either take a message.
So is this a way of the ministers denying representing their constituents? Is this a way of the minister denying?
For your time.
No, oh.
Deputy Prime Minister's office.
I don't appreciate being hung up on.
Okay, I didn't hang up on you. We have other phone calls coming through.
Yeah, you've got questions in front of you that you deny to answer.
You can either put a message in or you can send an email.
I'm recording everything that you're saying, so I will publish everything and send it to you. I've asked you a question in relation to a very serious criminal offence that has occurred, and you don't even want to approach it.
I'll pass your message on.
That's the best you can do, and show no loyalty for your constitution because you're totally ignorant of that document. Is that correct?
I will pass your message on.
How are these soldiers supposed to defend this country if they don't know what they serve? Do they serve the government of the day, or do they serve under the blessing of Almighty God as defined in the preamble to the Constitution?
Pass your message on.
This is the best you can do from the Deputy Prime Minister's office, is it? This is honest. This is honestly the best. This is the best you can offer the people, is it?
I'll pass your message on.
Is this the best you can offer the people? So there you go, everybody. Now, this is a long-winded story. It's very difficult publishing all of this stuff, okay? I don't have the time to keep going through all of this while all of you remain spectators. At some point, you're going to have to realize that they have committed an act of treason, attacked you on the front lines, poisoned 20 million of your people, and you sit there on your hands believing that someone's going to flip a switch for you while you all sit there ignorantly and they undermine everything you are and pull the rug out from under your feet. I'm going to very, very clearly demonstrate to you that Anthony Albanese is not under oath in accordance to the Constitution, according to law. So help him God. So help him God. No, he took his oath to some corporate body run by moneymen, globalists.
Conroy's office, this is Molly.
Yes, hi Molly, my name's Steve, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Right, I'm just ringing in relation to defence, and I've spoken to Richard Marles as well, and I've attempted to contact the Prime Minister's office, which is now not contactable.
So if it's relating to Pat's portfolio, you'll want to call the ministerial office, not the electorate office.
Right, okay.
That number if you'd like.
Is that... I'm just looking on the website here, and it's only got this office underneath his name on the directory.
Yeah, that's because this is the electorate office.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm on the APH directory website, and this is the only number that came up for Pat. My question relates to Anthony Albanese's oath, and I'd like to know what Pat Conroy's oath is.
Right,
okay. Okay, because Anthony Albanese has taken an oath that is not in accordance with the Constitution. He's the first Prime Minister to do so. It is not according to law. So how can he be our Prime Minister, and how can Pat Conroy sit in the cabinet of that Prime Minister outside of the Constitution?
Look, if it's related to his portfolio...
No, I asked the question. I already asked the question. And if I look at Anthony Albanese's oath, I, Anthony Albanese, do solemnly and sincerely affirm and declare that I will well and truly serve the Commonwealth of Australia, her land and her people in the office of Prime Minister. Whereas the scheduled oath says, I do swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, her heirs and successors according to law. So help me God. And the scheduled oath says, I do swear that I will be faithful to bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Victoria, her heirs and successors according to law. So help me God. So it's very clear that Anthony Albanese is outside of the Constitution according to law. So I'd like to know if Pat Conroy's operating within the Constitution according to law. And just like I asked Richard Miles, what would your Defence Force soldiers say about that, having had 102,000 men pass away under that Constitution according to law, so help them God? Is Anthony Albanese trashing our Anzac and those 102,000 Defence Force members that lost their lives? It seems to be so, given that he's outside of the Constitution according to law. There's a very serious thing called treason. So if I made the accusation that this was treason, what would you be obligated to do?
Look, sir, I apologise, but this, like I've said, it's the electorate office. It's not the ministerial office.
It doesn't matter which office it is. You can't obfuscate from a criminal offence because you're in your electorate. Do you understand that? You can't obfuscate from a criminal offence by claiming electoral. You can't. I made an accusation of you that this is an act of treason. This has not got anything to do with your electorate. You are a representative of that Constitution. Okay? It doesn't matter where I call from. I could call from a foreign country and ask you these questions. Now, and the
MO and raise this, then you're more than welcome, and that number is on the APH website. But from what I can gather, you're not from the electorate.
So that means what? So you can't address a criminal offence that's being pointed out to you because I'm not one of your electorate? Is that what you're saying?
It's not within our area. We're the electorate office. We help the constituents.
Well,
so your inquiry is ministerial, and you'll have to contact that office.
So you're not obligated to that Constitution, is what you're saying?
The MO number is on the APH website.
Are you obligated to that Constitution in your electorate office? Are you? Did you hang up on me? She hung up on me.
Minister Conroy's office, Dan speaking.
Sorry, I missed your name there. My name's Steve.
Yep.
What was your name?
Oh, sorry, my name's Dan.
Dan, I rang your electorate office, and I don't know why every politician does this. I'm not your constituent in your electorate, so you can't talk to me about a criminal offence. So I have to ring this ministerial office to talk to you about a criminal offence. So can I discuss something with you that I think is very important?
I think actually the best way is if you send an email.
Right, so you want to push us all into the metaverse and never address the people. Is that the case?
No, that's not what I said.
So,
I said that if you want a response, like a considered response, then you should email us
so
at the Minister Conroy inbox.
My question for you is, what's Pat Conroy's oath of office?
Pardon?
What's Pat Conroy's oath of office? Is it in accordance with the Constitution?
So I'm not aware of what you're talking about.
I asked a question, and you're not aware of your minister having to take an oath to sit in office.
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yes, all ministers have to do that.
Right, so is it in accordance with the Constitution?
Yes, I'm going to say this again. If you want a considered response, then please email the Minister Conroy.
Well, I'm trying to get a response from you. You're obligated to the Constitution working in that office, aren't you?
Well, I'm a public servant working in Minister's office, so
Correct.
I can't really...
Correct. So you might want to confirm that the man that you work for is working in accordance to law, right?
So I'm going to have to ask you again to email the Minister Conroy inbox.
So you want to...
I can't...
You want to push everyone into the metaverse instead of dealing with this in the real world. Is that the case?
I'm going to hang up now.
I'm going to ring back. Right, so we just ring straight back, right? Because this is how they treat you.
Minister Conroy's office?
Yes, good morning. I just got hung up by somebody in your office. I think his name's Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm representing a rather large body of people in this country, and we've been trying to get answers from this cabinet, and no one seems to want to respond. And I asked a very simple question of Dan, right? Are you obligated to the Constitution in that office?
Sure, yes.
Right, so the scheduled oath in that Constitution would be important then, wouldn't it?
Yes.
So I asked Dan what Pat Conroy's oath would be. And now I'm not expecting you to know straight off the top of your head. I've already got it in front of me.
Great.
Okay. I've also got Anthony Albanese's oath in front of me.
Okay.
Now I'm going to read you Anthony Albanese's oath. I, Anthony Albanese, do solemnly and sincerely affirm and declare that I will well and truly serve the Commonwealth of Australia, her land and her people in the office of Prime Minister. Is that in accordance with the Constitution?
What do you think?
No, it's not, because I've got the Constitution open up in front of me as well. I, AB, do swear that I will be faithful to bear true allegiance to Her Majesty Queen Victoria, her heirs and successors, according to law. So help me God. So is Anthony Albanese's oath according to law?
Is it?
I just spoke it to you, and it very well contradicts the oath that is displayed in the Constitution, making that oath outside of the law. It's not in accordance with the Constitution. So is Anthony Albanese our Prime Minister?
I believe so, yes.
Or is he an imposter taking a foreign oath to the Constitution? Would that be an act of treason?
What do you think?
I think it would be, because it's not in accordance with the scheduled oath in the Constitution, is it? According to law. So help him God. There's no God in his oath. There's no monarch in his oath.
Okay.
Right? So how is that in accordance with law?
Apparently not in accordance for what you've read to me.
So it's not in accordance. It's very clear that it's not in accordance. So is Pat Conroy's oath in accordance to law?
Have you got his oath there?
Right. Someone took an oath to a monarch, didn't they?
Did they?
Why didn't Anthony Albanese take an oath to a monarch? Pat Conroy's been in office a long time, long before this voice referendum attack on our people. Okay, so there's no requirement to take an oath a second time. Unless he did sit down and take an oath outside of the Constitution, which would make that an act of treason, wouldn't it? Right, so you're confirming with me that Anthony Albanese is not serving our Constitution.
Not at all. I'm just hearing your thoughts.
Well, you just confirmed with me that those two oaths don't match.
I confirmed hearing what you were talking about.
Right, so you do confirm that the oath that Anthony Albanese took is not in accordance to the Constitution.
I'm hearing you believe this. Yes.
No, can you pull up the Constitution in front of you?
No, I won't.
Right, so I will. Okay. Commonwealth of Australia Constitution Act, Schedule, Oath. I just read it to you. Note, the name of the King or Queen of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland for the time being is to be substituted from time to time. Where's that substitution in Anthony Albanese's oath?
You can't find it in there?
You can't find a monarch in Anthony Albanese's oath. I, Anthony Albanese, do solemnly and sincerely affirm and declare that I will well and truly serve the Commonwealth of Australia, her land and her people in the office of Prime Minister. So you removed God, you removed a monarch. So what do your Defence Force soldiers serve? Have you taken their crown away from them? Have you taken their royalty away from them as Royal Australian Regiments? It's a very serious thing, isn't it? To undermine 102,000 spilt lives, to undermine those Anzac 62,000, to undermine, 35,000 plus in World War II, to undermine 7,000 or 8,000 since World War II. What do those Vietnam veterans think being abandoned when they got home? Why were they abandoned when they got home? Is that a result that came to fruition in Anthony Albanese abandoning the Constitution? Serious, isn't it? Very, very serious at the treason end of law to the Constitution, right? Because you're not operating in accordance to law, are you all? And that's an accusation because I've read these two oaths out to you. You've clarified this fact with me. Clarify with me whether it's an act of treason or not.
Well, thank you for calling in.
I'm going to make an accusation of you that you're outside of King Vere Casement 1917. You're not operating within the Constitution. You've committed an act of treason to the Constitution. You've abandoned the Constitution, attacked the people of this country on a front line, poisoned 20 million of them with a jibby-jabby, locked them down, taken their jobs, threatened them, tortured them, and you will sit there and just say, not my responsibility. You're in that office. You made those decisions. You are in cahoots. You are complicit in common purpose. You have aided and abetted all of this stuff. Is it an act of treason? I take it in your silence you agree with me, which is called acquiescence, because you fail to speak up in the matter, which means that you must acquiesce. You agree. This is an act of treason going against the people of this country, operating outside of the Constitution according to law. And that's a direct accusation of Pat Conroy and all those in the current cabinet. What would you say about that? Silence is acquiescence. So you must agree that an act of treason has taken place. What would your Defence Force soldiers think about that? Are they Royal Australian men or Royal Aboriginal men? Or just not royal by name anymore at all? Very serious, isn't it? I rang Richard Marles' office, Minister for Defence. Between Marles and Conroy, you're both responsible for those Defence Force soldiers. What do you have to say to all those Royal Australian Regiment soldiers that have lost their royalty according to law because they've been informed to serve the government of the day and not their God? Silence is acquiescence, isn't it? Putting the phone down and ignoring someone is acquiescence.
I'm still here, sir. You keep bringing your accusations at me if you like, or we could go on with our days.
Or you could ignore the treason that's occurring, watch your country be undermined by several players in the parliament that are not operating within accordance to law. And you won't clarify that from the cabinet. Does that mean that you're aiding and abetting these people to undermine the Constitution? It very much looks like that.
Sir, I've heard your thoughts.
These aren't thoughts. These are legal implications, very strong legal implications that lead to treason, that lead to treachery, that lead to aiding and abetting a war crime. Is Pat Conroy complicit in a war crime? Is someone in that office going to answer for these crimes? Or are you all going to remain silent, hide behind your internet, and think that the people can't get through to you by dragging you before a high court and a federal court? You've been given an opportunity to speak. You keep pushing us into the metaverse. You keep pushing us to emails. You keep denying a response. This is the modus operandi that has been recorded and will be put before the courtroom. I'm going to ask you very clearly again. Is this an act of treason?
Please, you've said you've given me your accusations. I'm going to hang up now.
I'm asking the question, is this an act of treason?
Sir, please.
Why won't you answer the question? Is this an act of treason? I will ring back. There you go. Okay, that's Pat Conroy's office. This is a very difficult thing to do, so please donate. Now, I know that there's an oath of allegiance and then there's an oath of office. This is very apparent, but we can see that the change in this ministerial oath to enter into office has changed multiple times since Letters Patent 1984, and then again Letters Patent 2008. We can see the title of Queen of Australia is introduced after Letters Patent 2008. Letters Patent 1984 removed the office of Commander-in-Chief from the Governor-General, and Letters Patent 2008 reintroduced that office under some new command line authority. You had been taken over, occupied, pushed to the background, ignored, denied, and so on. And these people have dismantled your Commonwealth. It is very clear by the changing progression through time that these things have occurred. It is very clear that these people do not want to address the ramifications at law for acting outside of the Constitution. It's also very clear that Albanese doesn't serve any God, doesn't serve any royalty, and therefore takes the royal name from those Royal Australian regiments, from those Royal Australian soldiers, from those Royal Australian naval officers, from those Royal Australian Air Force officers. This is a very serious thing that affects all of you as men and sons of this Commonwealth who defended it for over 100 years, spilling the lives of 102,000 men to become what we became on an international stage, only to have these people dismantle it, abuse you, and put you on the front lines as they attack you out of existence. Changing the name of your emergency services to frontline responders should indicate to you very strongly that these people do not serve you and are actually an enemy attacking you from inside the gates. This is very, very, very clear now and easily demonstrable as we move forward, because none of this is according to law, so help you God.